Welcome to Talking Confidence with Holly Kaplan. Having confidence in the workplace is essential for progress, fulfillment, and yes, survival. The issue is that confidence doesn't always come easy and is impacted and influenced along the way. But the key to finding and keeping your confidence is how to recognize how professional situations have affected how you think of yourself. In this podcast together, we will examine exactly what impacts women's confidence in the workplace. We're going to get raw in these episodes. We're going to peel back the layers of social interactions, company culture, gender discrimination, ageism, and more. My guests will include entrepreneurs, corporate executives, and business owners. We're going to get down to what these women are really feeling. Expect to find vulnerability, openness, and relatability. But most importantly, expect to find your confidence. This episode is near and dear to my heart because it is about women of a certain age, which I am. I'm staring down the barrel at 55 in a few months. And you know, when I say it out loud, it sounds so old. Even though they say that 55 is a new 45, to make it sound sexier, it still comes with all the changes that accompany this time in our lives that are inevitable. Our bodies change, things are drooping, skin is sagging, and you may have hit a whole new level of exhaustion that comes with menopause. Families change too. Sadly, at this age, our mothers and fathers have aged into their final years, and that launches us into the generation of caretaking for both our own families and parents while maintaining a career. Warning, this will cause you stress. The four things I've mentioned can all lead to depression, anxiety, or emptiness, which impacts what? It impacts our confidence. So how do we overcome this? Well, my guest today, Demi Austin-Thomas, will be addressing these very real issues to help us navigate this era in our lives. Please be sure to listen through to the end of this episode so you can hear my 2 tips on the importance of having confidence during midlife. Here's more on Demi. Demi is an author, speaker, transformational coach, and former NBC correspondent and contributing expert for major media outlets such as NBC, Fox, and CBS. As a midlife transformational coach with over 16 years of experience, her heart beats for busy women, moms, and wives who are ready to stop putting themselves last and start showing up in every area of their lives. She helps women confront the messy, uncomfortable parts of life that we often shove aside and guides them to rediscover who they truly are. She helps shed the outdated version of you and embrace the woman that you are meant to be. I am so excited to have you here today because you're one of my favorite people. You're such a bright light. And I have loved getting to know you in the past couple of years.
Yes, I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Holly.
Of course. I've been waiting for this day.
Yes.
Literally 2 years.
Oh my God.
2 years. And I'm going to go ahead and get to my first question that I was going to ask you. And that was, how do we know each other? But I'm going to answer that.
Okay.
Because we met almost exactly 2 years ago at Your Hour, Her Power with Dress for Success here in DFW at the Anatole. And we were both,
we're being honored.
We're being honored for our contributions.
Yes.
And you got up and you gave the closing talk. And I'm getting chills right now. And you had the whole room. You had the whole room's attention.
Oh.
I think I even saw some tears.
No.
It was true. And I was like, I need to know her.
Wow.
And then I kind of fangirled you afterwards.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
No.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to know you. And I asked you to be on my podcast at that time. Yeah. And it's only taken me 2 years.
But you know what? Life is lifing, right?
Yeah.
We have to give ourselves grace. And I always feel like, everything is divinely choreographed. I believe in that. I believe that every step, every moment of our lives are being divinely choreographed. And so this is obviously the perfect timing because we're sitting here. And I think we had an opportunity to meet each other, it was like love at first sight.
I know.
I always feel like, especially when you meet people at these different prestigious events and awards and situations like that, sometimes you don't always, find that person.
Right.
Go,
yes.
I had lunch with her.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
And I felt like that with you. I was like, yes, this gonna be my girl.
Yes. Well, like, we have a lot to discuss.
Yes.
We have a lot of things to talk about.
Yes, and we did. We have been doing that. And I love that when we do have our time together, I feel like It's just a warm hug.
Yeah.
I think it's just two girlfriends talking
Yes.
about life.
It's very honest.
Very honest.
Mhm.
And I love that we don't have to put on.
No.
That we can just be our authentic self.
Yep.
And be like, girl,
Mhm.
like, I don't know what's happening right now, child, but don't judge me, honey. Listen, we listen and we don't judge, okay?
That's the thing. We listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes it easy. So
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that you're here.
I'm excited.
And I know this audience is going to love what you have to say.
I don't know. We're just going to see what happens.
Yes.
I think it's going to be, I think that today, our time, I feel like when we get together, I feel like I learned something.
Mhm.
So my hope is that someone who is watching and listening today,
Mhm.
that they will learn something, they will hear something that resonates with them
Mhm.
that says, oh, girl. You know what I mean? Because I love being able to listen to, I was listening to a podcast the other day and I was just like, oh, I wanted to pull over because I was like, girl, get out my street. You know, and so that's my hope is that someone will be able to have some takeaways and be able to see themselves in the threads of our conversation today.
I think that they will.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they will.
Yeah.
Which is a great segue because they need to know about you. Will you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a former correspondent for NBC. I'm a family and life coach. But outside of all those wonderful things, I'm a keynote speaker, author.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somebody's mama.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to call myself I'm a medium friend. I am the friend that you wish you had in your Rolodex,
Mm-hmm.
girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I love inspiring, empowering women. I love being able to help women, especially women over 40, really understand and unpack who they are, to dive deeper. I like to challenge you, provoke you, piss you off a little bit, but to also, in a very good way, to help you discover something new about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been my journey over the last 48 years of my life of trying to figure out who am I? And so I get the gift and the beauty of being able to help women unpack and really rediscover themselves and redefine their lives in this chapter. And so that's what I enjoy doing. I love it.
We all need it.
Yeah.
And we all need someone like you, quite frankly. I mean, I think you're such a gift and women can use your help so much. So,
well, I'm going to tell you, honey, the version that these people getting to me today, honey, they better be glad, child. Listen, there's a whole lot of healing, a whole lot of understanding, a whole lot of reconciling. I tell my daughter this all the time. I was like, you are getting the very best version of who I am today. I don't know if I could have.
Today.
Maybe
not yesterday.
Maybe listen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm the coach that I needed 10 years ago.
Right.
When I was trying to figure out how to use my words.
Yep.
And to be able to articulate what I was feeling. Because I was a girl who just kind of walked around numb.
Yeah.
And not knowing her true identity. So.
And now you do.
I do.
And you own it.
Yeah.
Which is why you have fabulous jewelry on. As you said earlier. I know.
I'm trying to help women discover their sizzles. So.
Got to do it all. Just like your necklace says.
Listen.
Sizzle.
Have fun doing it. That's what we're supposed to do.
I know. Especially at this age. I don't want to do anything else.
I don't want a boring life.
Okay. So how did you get into coaching and speaking? I hear how passionate you are about helping women. How did you get to doing those two things?
Yeah. So such a good question. Actually, there was a deficit in my life. I was failing horribly as a wife, as a mother. I was working full time. My background is advertising marketing.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like I wasn't happy in my marriage. Me and my husband came into our marriage prioritizing our children. So we didn't really do a lot of, dating and really trying to really cultivate our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like I was in this place of just trying to figure out, who am I? What am I? What do I want? I was young when I got married. I was 23. And I started a girls' night out. I started a girls' night out called Pillow Talk. Crazy idea I had in my head with the idea or the intention to be able to learn from other women.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to have this soiree. But I was like, no, I'm going to host something that maybe other women can come and I can learn from them. From that, what happened, I thought maybe 20 women would show up. We had 127 women that showed up.
Oh
that
my
night,
gosh.
which was insane. I started doing this event every 90 days. And it was insane because we went from 120 women to over 500 women showing up, which told me that there was a great need.
Yes.
There was a great need. Women are trying to figure out who they are, what they want, what they need, how to communicate. And so I had these women who were coming to me for answers. And I'm thinking, girl, I'm trying to figure it out as I go as well. And then decided maybe I need to take this a little bit more seriously, and dived into thinking about getting a certification as a life coach. And I ran into purpose in a place of a deficit in my own life. And from that, I've been coaching, I've been speaking. And I think for me, one of the things I will say, like, I love this, but I think I feel like the speaking and coaching for me comes from practicality. It comes from real life experiences. Like, I never want to be the person who gets up and just gives empty words of flattery, who gives just a bunch of fluff. Like, I feel like I have had to live out a lot of experiences in my life that have been very painful and very disappointing and really speak to the hearts of women. And I think that that is one of the reasons why I continue to enjoy doing this work. But speaking has been something I've enjoyed doing because I feel like it's a conversation that I get to have. Like, you're hearing from me, but we're having a conversation heart to heart.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think people love your authenticity. That's what I see in you. And they look to you to guide them. And I love how you started to attract this group of people. Like, Demi knows things. She can help us. So I could see how that would translate into coaching.
Yeah.
And I love that you make yourself vulnerable. And you're like, I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
I want us to do this together.
Yes.
So
yes.
You've created a community.
Yeah. And
really?
And I love that because I think that women want what's real, especially right now.
Oh my God.
I think we have so many people who are pretending and so much that's happening culturally and the acceptance that people are looking for. And I think that people are wanting, especially women over 40, are wanting to gravitate to what is authentic.
Yeah.
And because they're looking for permission.
Yeah.
And they're not always looking for you to have the answer. They're just looking to say, girl, do you get it?
Right.
And sometimes I'm just there to not always speak, but just to listen.
Right. And that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We need to just listen. We don't have to always give our advice.
Yeah.
It's important to just be able to listen because sometimes they just need to be heard.
Yes. And to be quite honest with you, I used to feel the responsibility of feeling like, oh, I got to give an answer. I got to know. And I was like on the hamster wheel of just driving myself nuts because I was in a place of trying to discover who I was. That this was very new for me. It was new for my husband, for my children. And I felt like I needed to be on Front Street as things were happening and progressing in my life. And I always felt like, man, this is a lot of pressure.
It is. And you don't want to give bad advice. If you don't know something, you don't know something.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't know.
Right. I don't know. And I'm just here to listen. Let's just let this marinate for a minute. We don't have to figure it all out right now.
Yeah.
That makes you a good sounding board.
Yeah, and I can be. I mean, seriously, I think sometimes you just got to figure out, like, what role do you want to play? And I've had to be very mindful of asking myself. In a meeting before I came here, and sometimes I've always been the advice girl. Like, girl, since I was 8 years old on the playground, honey, and Giovanni wanted to know what she needed to do to get Levi's attention. Did she need to write him a letter? I said, girl, you need to go buy that yellow dress that you got. Tell your mama what you wear, the yellow dress, and wear your cute black shoes because you can't wear white, girl. It's fall. Like, I knew this at 8 and 10. And wear your most pretty, gorgeous ribbons. And meet me at the play. I'm going to hook that up for you. I've always been the go-to advice-giving girl. And I've had to I think sometimes you feel like you have to always have the answer for people. And I've had to train myself to be like, girl, sometimes you just got to know how to use your discernment. And this morning when I was in my meeting, I was like, you don't have to give the answer. I knew the answer. But I was like, sometimes it just might be the answer's in the room, but you might not always have to be the one to share it.
Right.
Because I don't need any validation here. I'm here to just be present and in the moment. So sometimes we have to just be in the moment.
Yeah, we do. And I think we get lost in that because we all feel like we always have to have solutions. And we have to know things and, we have to be first in everything and be the one to go to, but we don't. It's not realistic. It's too much pressure.
It's too much pressure. And I think that also takes us into that people-pleasing spirit.
Right.
That mindset of always having to overextend. I gotta.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I was a professional. Listen, I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Yep. Me too.
And I had to say, no. And I had to start honoring my yes to myself. And so when and let me tell you, it took me a long time because I don't feel like people pleasing is something you just be like, okay, I can do this. I can stop tomorrow. There's something in you that's always nagging and wanting to know, am I going to let this person down if I don't?
I know.
And I've had to learn it.
And when that's more important to you than how you feel, that's when you know it's not the right path. That's a whole other conversation about people pleasing.
Yeah.
All day long. I was raised to be a people pleaser. My mother raised me to be a people pleaser. It's a very Southern thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
very much.
Just say no. Just like the whole was it Nancy Reagan campaign to drugs? Just say no.
Just say no.
Say no to people pleasing. We're not going to do it anymore.
We're not. Honor your no.
I love it. Just no. What drove you to wanting to help improve people's confidence? Why is that important to you?
Well, I know how it makes me feel internally. I feel like I get like this love cup of joy.
Yeah.
Because I also know what it feels like to be on the hamster wheel of suffering internally and silently.
Yeah.
I tried to commit suicide 3 times in my life.
You never told me that?
Yeah, 3 times. I remember at 13, at 24, and 32.
Wait. 13, 24, and 32.
3 attempts at trying to take my life. And 32, I think, is interesting because I was a wife and I was a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember sitting in that car, letting the car, I literally was in my garage. I was just in a very mentally, emotionally draining situation. I felt like life was happening. You can't control it. And I just remember drifting. And I remember getting a phone call from my friend. Before I got the phone call from my friend, I heard in my left ear, "It's not over." And the phone rang.
Oh my God.
And a friend of mine, I started crying. And she says, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in my garage." And I knew what that moment, that I could have changed the trajectory of my children's lives and my husband's life. Now, honey, you probably would have married somebody else. But think about just the gravity of that situation and how many times as women, there's this expectation that we have to show up. We have to have the answers. We have to do it all. And we suppress and we internalize and we numb and we never deal with our stuff. And I felt like I needed to be a conduit to be able to say, "Girl, I have been there. I know what this is.
Yeah.
I know what this is." To be able to discern your heart and say, "Sis, let's unpack this. Let's really get to the root of the why.
Right.
Let's help you identify. Let's help you confront this. Let's use your words." Because I was never taught to use my words. And so that is why I do what I do, because that is gratification in knowing that I was able to show up, support, serve, but to also see her and to let her know that you are not by yourself. And that's what we need more of.
That is what we need more of. I agree with you, because we all just need so much support.
Yeah.
Because you can feel like you're all alone in these situations.
Yeah.
And that can cause anxiety. It can cause depression. It can cause you just to want to stay in your house because you don't want to talk to people. You don't want to deal with things. You don't want to pick up the phone. But we need to be able to help these women.
And I think because there's just an expectation as wife, we're just meant to always be strong.
Yeah.
There's an expectation. I think that we've been taught to mask. We've been programmed. We've been programmed to to need that validation, but also at the same time to just stay in your place. Yeah. We'll deal with it later. Oh, I can't get to it right now. I put the kids, we put everybody else before us instead of really taking a moment to say, "I don't feel good. Like something is wrong."
Let me tell you.
Let me just reevaluate. Yeah.
That happened yesterday to me. I had a busy day with work. I haven't been taking care of myself. I haven't been walking. I haven't been eating right. And you feel it when you're carrying all that other weight with you and you feel like it's only with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't shake it. How do I shake this? I'm not doing what's right.
Yep.
For me, other than masking and getting through the day.
Yeah. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
But we have to take a beat.
Right.
Just like, you get the phone call from your kids, your husband, or whatever's going on with them, right then we're on it.
Yep.
But we have to start being much more mindful and intentional about saying, "Hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I need to schedule myself some," we say self-care time. I like to call it love-joy time.
Yeah.
Because it's how we fill our cup. Baby, I can't pour from an empty cup. I can't keep
giving.
And that's what we do. We keep giving and giving and giving, and we are running on fumes. And we are on empty.
I know.
And then what's happening is that we're getting to the doctor. I'm telling you, girl.
I know. It's why I'm laughing.
Yes. And then we get to the doctor's office, and then that lump that's been there that we've ignored.
Yeah.
Now you find out it's stage 4. Like, we have to start. And you could have prevented it.
Yeah.
I know for me, I'm not eating, because listen, I love me some Cookie Society. I love cupcakes, honey buns. I love all that stuff. But this is a couple years ago, I had to really listen, let me tell you, I won't say I had a food fetish. I had a food addiction because I was numbing myself with food. My husband used to work the night shift. He would go to work. He would leave about 9:30. When he would leave there, I would go straight to Whataburger and order me number one. Ooh. I would sit in my bed and eat my emotions away. Oh. And I was gaining weight. I was a size 26. Size 26. And I was just miserable. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror and saying, what are you going to do? Because we like to blame shift other people. Yeah. This isn't going right in my life. I'm not making enough money. I don't feel like I'm getting this from my husband. I don't feel like my kids. What can you do with you?
What was the catalyst to that conversation with yourself? Do you remember?
I mean, I just remember looking at myself and not liking what I saw in the mirror. Okay. And I just remember that I did this to myself. And I'm the only one who's going to be able to take myself out of this pit.
Right.
And I had to ask myself, why? Because I think what we do is we like, we can identify and recognize that we're not eating well. But we have to start getting to the root of what led me to this place. Like, why am I here? Mm-hmm. And I realized I was depressed. I suffered with depression for a really long time. Holly, I'm talking about depression for I didn't go to church. I didn't go anywhere for 3 years. I sat in the house. And I had to start unpacking my baggage.
Yeah. You had to survive, literally.
Literally. To survive emotionally, to survive physically, I had to start taking every part of my life, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my husband, our marriage was in turmoil. I wasn't doing well in my career. And I had to ask myself, why?
How did you make change though? When you asked yourself why, what were the first changes that you made? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm telling you, girl, this was just a few years ago.
Yeah.
For one, I didn't like how I felt. Okay. I went to my doctor. My doctor told me I had high blood pressure. He told me all the things, your stress level. We did a stress test. I felt okay, if I don't feel well internally, I need to go get something. I need to go get checked out. Yeah. So when I went to my doctor, he told me, here's what you're up against. You're going to die if you continue to eat these number ones, right? And if you don't do anything, you got to get physically fit. And I started saying, okay, I'm going to take my life back from this depression because I don't want to be here. I don't want it. And the other part of that is I thought, well, I'm happy because I kept telling my doctor, well, I'm happy. But I realized I wasn't fulfilled. And there is a difference to be happy versus fulfilled.
So true.
Come on.
So true.
You could go from 0 to 100 and be mad in a millisecond. But when life is happening, can I still be fulfilled? Even when I'm mad at my husband and he get on my nerves sometimes, or even when in a financial rut or something is happening in our life, can I still look back and say, I am fulfilled. I'm anchored in this. So I decided physically, you got to make some changes. I changed how I was going to eat. I started doing a keto diet. I started working out. And listen, I wasn't going to the gym 3 or 4, 5 times a day. I was let me just start walking for 50 because I couldn't do it.
It's one thing at a time.
Listen, one thing at a time. I had to do what worked for me. I would take 30 minutes and I would be out. I couldn't even do it for 30 minutes. So I would just take 15 minutes.
That's all you have to do. It's not worth putting the pressure on yourself and saying, I have to go run 10 miles. Don't do it. It's one thing at a time.
And I couldn't even make it a mile.
I can't make it a mile today.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever made it a mile.
Yeah.
But it's just one thing at a time. I like what you're saying because it's really about chipping away at things. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to take the baby steps.
Baby steps.
And it helps you get adjusted to that.
Baby steps. And so once I started that, I could start to see a little bit of change. And I won't say I saw the changes physically. I could feel them internally. I could feel I wasn't drinking water. I used to drink Cokes every day. Stopped drinking Cokes. I was like, oh my God, this brain fog I was having, I could have a little bit of clarity.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling better. I'm breathing better. I couldn't even walk up from my car to the door without being winded. I was that bad. And so once I started making those steps, I said, okay, now that I'm kind of working on that physically, internally, now I got to start dealing with my emotional baggage.
Yes.
And I had to start getting to go to my inner trauma that we've dealt with in terms of childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we think, oh, I don't have trauma. But then I also had to look back.
Yes, you really have to think about it. You do, because you're like, but I thought that was normal. And you're like, it wasn't normal? Is that why I feel this way?
Yes.
I know.
And they're emotional wounds.
Yeah.
Like everybody's traumatic experiences are not going to look alike, but there's a wound there that obviously has not been healed. And so I started to dealing with my childhood experiences, parenting experience. I started reparenting myself. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, girl, listen. Yeah, like reparenting is really a very big thing. And reparenting is simply you giving yourself what you felt like you needed, what you lacked as a child.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I do that with my daughter.
Yeah.
Like I try to give her what I didn't get, what I got too much of. I try to find more of a balance, but I didn't think about doing it for myself.
Don't we do that?
Think about it for her, but not. I'm like, I'm done. I'm already baked. I'm cooked. This is it.
No.
But here's what I can do for her.
Absolutely. But you get to pour that love back into you, because when you start pouring it back into you, think about what she's going to get. And then we create a pattern, a healthy habit that she now gets to pour back into.
I want her to have the healthy
and she
habits.
Gets that for herself. Because I'm sorry, I have a 29-year-old daughter. She's my only girl. And I always feel like I got to be able to model behavior that in habits that she can see that's healthy, that she'll be able to normalize for herself, give to herself so that she can pass down to her daughter.
Agreed. And that's a gift, I think.
I think so.
Okay, I want to go back a little bit.
Okay, because we said a lot, girl.
Let's get back to the midlife thing, when you were unhappy and you went through the Whataburger phase and everything else. I want to get to that point of women's lives where it is upon midlife, where you have different situations where you're stressed or you're not confident. So I want to hear from you why you think these other women need the confidence that you didn't get at the time. Why do other women need it?
Well, I think, number one, we have been programmed to dim our light.
Yes, true.
And so when we're talking about confidence, when you are programmed to not take up space, and you're programmed, think about it, we're programmed to sharing is caring. Oh, don't be too much. You're this, you're that.
Right.
You're this,
don't stand out.
Don't stand out. Like you're programmed in your mind that I can't show up as my authentic self.
Right.
Because it's not going to be accepted. So that starts to chip away at your confidence. That's number one.
Yeah, it does.
And then we are addicted. I believe that we are addicted to validation. We are addicted to validation. We need it. We seek. Think about how many times you second guess yourself. Oh, I was the girl I would call 37 other people and needed to know what they thought. Oh, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about? I need to know. Validation. We're constantly seeking validation. And I'm like, where is that coming from?
Where is that coming from?
You know where it's coming from?
Tell me.
Your inner critic.
Oh.
It's coming from your inner critic. And it's the number thing. And the reason why it's coming from your inner critic is because you don't know your identity.
Right.
You don't know who you are. And a lot of women right now, I think we had to become who our mothers wanted us to be.
Yes.
Because it was what was accepted. But now in this midlife season, it's kind of like this unheard of, unacceptable, we think, to become something that we really like and love doing.
Yeah.
So I used to wear black all the time. Because,
you told me that.
Yeah, I used to wear black all the time because I was too fat. I was a big girl. I was a 26. And my grandmother would tell me, you need to stay away from the refrigerator. Like making those things. But, you start hearing those things and you go, oh my God. So I started wearing in black. When I started losing weight, I just wore black. And I thought, what am I doing?
There was something that was ingrained in you.
It was ingrained in my mind that if I wear anything else, like don't wear white because you're going to make you look like a big sheet. Yeah. So when I got in my midlife, I started going, I want to try something new. I started seeing everybody in these coats. I'm just going to try it because we're afraid we don't want to be accepted. But at the end of the day, when you get to redefine your life, it's what matters to you. Not to anyone, nobody's opinion, nobody's ideas, what they have to say or think. What matters to you? If you want to wear that red dress, girl, wear your red dress. You want to dye your hair purple, girl,
do whatever you want to do.
Do what makes you happy. The other part of that is I feel like we have not dealt with our emotional baggage. We internalize. We suppress.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
it's easier to do that than it is to address it.
Easier said than done, right? And that chips away at our confidence because we're constantly looking for people to not only validate us, to accept us. We want to know what they think. Their opinion matters over ours.
Oh, look at social media.
Oh my gosh.
It's constant validation.
Spirit of comparison.
Yes, all of it. I think it fuels it.
Yeah.
It absolutely fuels it.
Yeah.
If you post something and you're like, oh my God, I only have 5 likes. I don't have validation I need. I need like 20 likes so I can really feel good about this.
Yeah.
I think it just makes it even worse.
Oh yeah. I used to be in that cycle. Oh my God. I would go back and delete posts.
Really?
Yes. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't think they liked it. Or maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a church girl.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times I'm always like, very like nervous about because I think I'm very edgy. I think this chapter of my life is very spicy right now.
Yes, it's
like,
good.
You know, like don't come
You're
for me
sizzling.
because I'm very spicy. But I will say spicy in terms of I know exactly who I am and I know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And my words mean something. And you don't have to agree with them. It doesn't mean that we can agree to disagree. Politics, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, you have your own ideas.
Yeah.
I have my own idea.
Yeah.
And if I say something, this is just what I want to say. And I don't need your like. If you give me your like and you give me your love, boo, I love myself enough that your stuff is extra.
I'm not going to worry about it.
Listen, and if you don't ever give it to me, I'm still okay because I like and I love myself.
Yes, and that's the most important thing.
And that's the part that we get, that I love being able to help my midlifers understand. You have to start loving yourself more than what others think and love about you.
Well, you just actually answered my next question.
Oh my goodness.
Because you're sharing what you've done. Because the question was, if you find yourself in a less than confident phase in your life, how do you manage that personally? But you're speaking to it right now.
Yeah.
Because it still happens.
Yeah, it does. And you'll never be able, I think that if you live in that perpetual state of just wanting people to accept you, you will never tap into who you truly are.
Right.
You will never find that fulfillment of self-love because you'll always be seeking it from other people.
You can't do that.
And you get to, and what happens is you strip away more and more of you because you're constantly giving it away.
And then you're empty and you have nothing left.
You have nothing left. So good. And we don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
Mm-mm.
We don't.
No.
What advice do you have for women about finding their confidence? Do you have any tools or tips for them? Like, what has worked for Demi? What has worked for you? And what should other women be doing when they find themselves in a place of feeling less than?
Well, I think the number one thing is that it's very important to guard your life with boundaries.
Oh, I agree. I could talk boundaries all day.
Because I think and the reason why I want to use that is because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
And that's where it started for me. I had to put in some very hard boundaries. And not only for my friends, but even for my family. Listen, I tell people all the time, just because you kin to me does not mean you know me.
No.
And people feel like because they know you, especially with family, because it's familiar, because I know you, I have access to you.
It's not true.
That's not true at all. And you get to reframe your life in who gets access to you. Because once you start doing that, it's going to change your mindset. It's going to really shift your mindset. It's going to change how you see yourself in your time. You'll start to value your time more. And so that's what really started for me, is creating boundaries and then also creating some non-negotiables for yourself. Things that you have to set that you have to love yourself and to honor yourself, to pour back into yourself.
How did that make you feel? I love that question. How did it make you feel when you set boundaries?
First of all, setting boundaries was hard. And it felt like I was disappointing people. Oh yeah. It felt like I was oh my God, I have to tell you no. Like, it was difficult. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it was easy. Setting boundaries is difficult because you feel like you're letting people down. But once I started doing that, I felt powerful.
You got your energy back.
I got my life back.
Mm-hmm.
I got my time back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to say, is this how this works? Yeah. And once it clicked, I was like, okay, I like this. And so now I don't just do that personally, but I do it professionally as well.
Same.
I was the girl you could call after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Let's talk spreadsheets. Now,
and more.
I'm like, baby, bye.
If it's not a heart transplant, don't call me.
Listen, girl, if you ain't
don't worry about it.
Child, don't call me.
No.
Because my time is my time and it should be honored.
Yes.
And I get to be able to, and only you get to really take your power back from people.
Yeah.
When you say, I'm drawing the line in the sand.
Yeah.
Because people will only do what you allow them to.
I agree. And you recognize their boundaries also.
Absolutely.
I think that's also something else. You're like, well, I'm not going to call Holly after a certain
You're
time.
mindful of it.
Yeah.
You're mindful of it.
Right.
But we're not always mindful in saying, you know what, because I'm honoring theirs, let me put this boundary in place for you.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say is I think it's important for women right now to don't be afraid to color outside of the lines. We've been taught to color.
Tell me more about that.
What that simply means is like being able to have self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you color outside the lines, doesn't mean that it's still not a good picture.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. You are the artist to your canvas in this chapter.
Look, I agree. I just brought this podcast back, and my friends and family are like, "Why do you want to do that? You already have a great job. You have a great career right now." I'm like, this is how I want to express myself.
Yeah.
This is what I like
It's
doing.
fulfilling to you.
It's fulfilling, and I like telling other people's stories, but there is some level of criticism.
Of course.
Of doing doing something different or doing something that you're not expected to do at a certain age, especially.
Yeah. And I think that it's not going, and I'm so glad you're doing this.
Thank you.
Because it's so needed. It's so needed because I think the women are looking for answers. And so you bringing back this podcast is showing up in their lives as a solution. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad because think about it. My mom didn't have anything like this. Her mom, it wasn't even a topic.
No.
It wasn't a thing.
No.
All we did was mask and just keep going, doing day in and day out
So
stuff.
think about how you're showing up as a conduit and the catalyst for change for our generation. So thank you for opening up this platform because it's so needed. And people are looking for answers and they are looking for permission.
They are.
And that is, I think, for me, in terms of this canvas and painting, the only permission slip that matters is the one that you give to yourself.
Agreed. Did you hear that, listeners? Perfectly said.
That's it. You don't need anybody else's permission slip. You get to write it.
Yeah.
You get to rewrite the narrative of your life. I don't care. I'm not saying that we're minimizing your trauma, minimizing disappointment, heartbreak, divorce, starting over, losing a job. All of those things happen. They did. They're real.
It happens. It's life.
But it happened also for you.
Yep, I agree.
And I believe that, one of my favorite scriptures is Romans 8:28. It says, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose. For me, I've recognized that all the things that I've had to go through in my life have been purposeful. But they've also been lessons that I've had to experience in this journey. And I have the beautiful opportunity of getting to decide how I want to show up. How I want to react. How do I want to respond? Like, I used to be the girl who would assassinate you with some words. Yes, girl, I'm telling you, I'm not the same person always.
Okay, you're doing good.
I'm telling you. But I had to understand, where is that coming from?
Right.
Yeah.
And
so now I get to show up obviously people get a healthier version of me, but all those experiences in our life, nothing has been wasted.
No, it's
nothing.
It's all pointing to where you are today.
Absolutely. And you get to rewrite your narrative.
Yes.
You get to redefine and bring new meaning into your life. All with you painting your new canvas.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree. We have a lot of canvas left.
Yes.
We have a lot more to do.
Yes, a lot more.
So how can our listeners get in touch with you if they want to have you be their coach or speak in an event?
Well, I would love that. I absolutely love connecting with community. I believe in the power of community. I believe that community, someone there can hear and learn from us. And so I'm happy to show up as a coach. I'm happy to show up as a keynote speaker or a conference speaker. However I can live my life to serve and support others. They can always find me at DemiAustin-Thomas.com. They can find me on Instagram at Demi Austin-Thomas and also on Facebook. But I'm excited about where this chapter is leading me and however I can connect with other people and just helping them in their journey. I'm excited about it.
Well, they need you. There are a lot of us out here.
They need us.
I'm glad you're leading the charge, Demi. You're making it happen.
Oh my God, we're making it happen.
We're making it happen.
Yes, we're reframing our words. We are making it happen. And we're doing it imperfectly. And I love that.
Me too.
Imperfectly perfect.
Perfect. It's perfect.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.
It's been a great conversation.
Y'all,
Thank you.
I'm in my midlife. I've had my own battles with imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, and confidence. It's normal. If you're experiencing the same, you are normal. Here are my 2 tips for people of a certain age. Number 1, know that you are exactly where you are supposed to be in life. If you are 57 and facing a personal or professional reinvention, that just means that you're meant to do more and that you have the ability to adapt and persevere. Feel confident because of your life experience, because you've earned it. Secondly, when it comes to worrying about what other people think, to use a Mel Robbins term, let them. We cannot control what other people think or do. Who cares? Let them. Be your most confident self and let go of the thoughts that hold you back. Those are my parting words today. This is Holly Kaplan. Cheers until the next episode of Talking Confidence. Thank you, Talking Confidence listeners, for joining me for this episode today. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you like this conversation, please leave us a review and share your thoughts. Thanks.